Chasseau Viola, known as Chauvard, Case Montier, or Commander Farsight, remains a polarizing figure in Tau history, celebrated for his tactical brilliance and criticized for his perceived arrogance. Emerging from the fire warrior academies of Viola, Farsight quickly earned his moniker for his ability to anticipate and exploit enemy strategies. His firecast forces, imbued with the aggressive spirit of their leader, adhere closely to the martial traditions of Viola. The young Violan began his journey by absorbing and memorizing every facet of the Viola Fire Warrior Academy's training program, spending all his time within the Battle Dome simulations and memorizing the code of fire from end to end. He was even able to decipher all tactics that were used by his superiors and constantly outperformed all other Tau. After graduating the academy and becoming a Chazlar, Farsight swiftly distinguished himself through exceptional performance and a thorough understanding of Tau tactics during deployment against the Arakan incursion within the Western Vale. Farsight's impact on the battlefield garnered attention from both admirers and detractors among his former instructors. For the next 4 years, despite facing challenges and skepticism, Farsight excelled as a frontline trooper. Following this, Farsight was promoted to Chasseur after a near-hopeless simulation exercise, where Farsight bravely sacrificed himself, believing the battle to be real. He awoke to the news that he had succeeded the trial, and was then allowed to transition to piloting battlesuits. Farsight was then sent back to the front lines, where he continued to fight bravely and defeat his enemies. During a final push against the Arakan threat, the battle was so bloody that he lost his left leg to the onslaught. Nevertheless, he performed admirably, and was promoted to Saznami. He then led the assault on the Arakan ruling council, the Arakan Trinity, where he defeated them and put an end to the war. Shortly after this, as the Tau were cleaning the rest of the Arakan out of the sector, a Commander Dawnstone led a boarding party aboard an Arakan Cocoon ship. As Dawnstone moved through the ship, they were ambushed, and Farsight sacrificed himself to save his commander. As Farsight awoke in a medical bay, it was revealed to him that this assault was but a simulation. Following this, he was selected as a disciple of Commander Puretide due to his actions within the war and the simulation. Farsight underwent rigorous training, mastering every facet of Tau warfare under grueling conditions. Farsight also went so far as to study every presentation the Earthcast had on military equipment, an action which could brand him as Vashyar, between spheres, a state of mind forbidden by the Ethereals. Nonetheless, Farsight emerged as a formidable leader and strategist, embodying the principles of Tau martial prowess. Farsight's illustrious commanding career saw its inception amidst the crucible of the Arkunasha War, where he orchestrated a remarkable defense against the marauding Warg led by Warboss Toothjaw. Utilizing the natural terrain to his advantage, Oshovar confounded the Orc invaders with a series of tactical maneuvers, earning him the moniker Farsight for his unparalleled foresight on the battlefield. Embracing close combat as integral to warfare, Farsight emerged as the master of Montkar, the aggressive strategy that became synonymous with Tau forces. Amidst the tumult of the Damocles Crusade, Farsight's leadership became a beacon of hope for the Tau Empire. Despite facing perilous combat against renowned foes like Assault Marines Cato Sicarius and Joris Numitor, Farsight's resolve remained unyielding, harboring a vow of vengeance against his adversaries. Following the withdrawal of the Imperial forces, Farsight spearheaded reclamation fleets to reclaim lost Tau worlds, thwarting Imperial deserters and abandoned guardsmen. Venturing beyond the confines of known Tau space, Farsight embarked on explorations that expanded the horizons of the Tau Empire. In a dramatic confrontation during the Damocles Crusade, Farsight confronted his long-standing adversaries, the Scar-Lord Space Marines, led by acting Chapter Master Kalos. Despite the Space Marines' incursion onto Violus, Farsight emerged triumphant, decimating the invading forces and dealing a devastating blow to the Scar-Lords. The annihilation of 90% of the Scar-Lords chapter underscored Farsight's prowess as a formidable commander and defender of Tau interests. After the Damocles Crusade, Onvar, the leader of the Tau Empire, proposed an expedition to uplift the spirits of the Empire, which had waned after the war with the Imperium. Leading the Farsight expedition, Commander Farsight commanded a vast Tau fleet across the Damocles Gulf, entering stasis to hold aging during the lengthy voyage. In the ensuing campaign on the Gulf's far side, Farsight initially faced defeat at the hands of Grog Ironteeth, the Orc war chief of Al Santa. Despite setbacks, Farsight ultimately triumphed over Grog, chasing scattered Orc remnants to the planet Arthas Moloch. During this time, Farsight authored the Book of the Beast, detailing Orc physiology and doctrine. On Arthas Moloch, Farsight confronted a new threat, chaos demons emerging from a mysterious portal atop a great dais. During the battle, all Farsight's accompanying ethereals perished, and he narrowly sealed the portal with a newfound blade, the Dawn Blade, a weapon forged with chronophagic alloys, which adds the remaining lifespan of its victim to the wielder. Through the combination of using this weapon and fighting horrors unknown to him, Farsight succumbed briefly to intense bloodlust. This encounter shook Farsight, revealing to him the existence of greater threats than the ethereals had disclosed. It was here on this planet that the Chaos Gods Khorne and Tzeentch began their mission of corrupting Farsight. Following the events on Arthas Moloch, Farsight returned to his holdings on the far side of the Damocles Gulf. Harboring a growing distrust for the ethereal caste, he suspected their control over the Tau went beyond mere influence, hinting at a darker motive, concealed beneath their charisma. Recognizing the threat of chaos and the universe's unpredictable nature, Farsight realized the ethereals withheld crucial knowledge from the Tau. Initially, he questioned their leadership, advocating for harmony among the castes without their oversight. However, as he reflected on past obedience to the ethereals, once seen as wise but now deemed deplorable, Farsight's doubts deepened. Consumed by fear and heretical thoughts, Farsight faced a dilemma: reveal the truth and risk the Empire's collapse, or endure the ethereals' rule. Opting for exile, he established fortified strongholds along the Damocles Gulf, severing ties with the Tau Empire and confirming his defiance, ultimately establishing what is known as the Farsight Enclaves. Shortly after establishing the Farsight Enclaves, Farsight declared his departure from its council, opting for self-imposed exile. Feeling undeserving and burdened by the revelations from Arthas Moloch, he entrusted the administration of the Enclaves to the Eight, an esteemed Tau strike team and Council of War. Farsight then embarked on a solitary journey across the desolate lands of Violos, relinquishing his battlesuit and the Dawnblade, both preserved for study by Ovessa. Farsight's choice of exile shielded him from the corruptive influence of Chaos Gods Khorne and Tzeentch, who had sought to ensnare his soul on Arthas Moloch. Farsight re-emerged to lead the Enclaves in the face of a tyrannid threat from Hive Fleet Kraken, marshalling 80 battlesuits to repel the Xenos onslaught. His next significant appearance came during the Second Agrellan campaign, where he joined forces with his former ally, Commander Shadowsun, to mount a valiant but ultimately futile defense against the Imperium. Following this engagement, Oshovar vanished once more, setting a course for Telassa to thwart the encroaching Hive Fleet Leviathan. Despite his assistance to the Empire, the Ethereal Council orders Shadowsun to apprehend him, a directive she covertly shared with the exiled commander in a bid to aid his escape. Following the Agrellan campaign, Farsight faced relentless Orc assaults on his enclaves in the renewed War of Daka, spearheaded by the notorious Nazdreg. Despite the proximity of his world, Dregrock, to Arthas Moloch, Farsight launched a successful attack, seemingly eliminating Nazdreg before Chaos forces under Uhalax arrived, seeking a key fragment. Forced into a fighting retreat on Arthas Moloch, Farsight hoped to pit the Orcs and Chaos against each other, but suffered heavy losses, including the death of his fellow warrior and friend, Brightsword, and severe injuries to Bravestorm and Oblatai. Frustrated and seemingly influenced by Khorne, Farsight's desperation grew when Onvar rejected his plea for aid, condemning him for forsaking the greater good. The conflict reached a climax at the Great Star Dais, where Farsight, driven by rage, unleashed demons upon both Orc and Chaos forces. For a moment, he became an avatar of Khorne, adorned with the skulls of the ethereals he now despised. However, a fleeting realization of the horror of his thoughts snapped him back to sanity. Ordering a retreat, he later returned to find the Great Dais inactive and signs of life returning to the world. Commander Farsight's impact on the Tau has been profound and multifaceted. Renowned for his tactical brilliance and unmatched combat prowess, Farsight rose to prominence as a legendary figure in Tau history. His strategic acumen, particularly in the face of overwhelming odds against Orc invasions and Imperial crusades, has earned him admiration and respect among his people. However, Farsight's legacy extends beyond the battlefield. His defiance of the Ethereal's authority and subsequent establishment of the Farsight Enclaves challenged the traditional Tau hierarchy and ideology, sparking debates about autonomy, individualism, and the nature of the greater good. Despite controversy surrounding his actions, Farsight remains a symbol of independence, resilience, and the pursuit of truth within Tau society.